Good afternoon, Abbotsford residents. I'm Mr. Pelican, running for your Commander-in-Chief. And the first thing we're going to do is bring the RCMP into Abbotsford. Remove the Abbotsford Police. Let me explain, ladies and gentlemen. We don't need to hear that there'll be investigations into Abbotsford Police and we'll see what's going wrong and everything. It's long past that time. They have to be removed and kicked out. We don't need to hear that they're involved in criminal investigations, and no, that's a leniency. It's kind of like me telling you I'm eating ice cream and right now you can't arrest me till I'm finished my dessert. Today I want to take you a bit of a journey to show that this wasn't a conspiracy, that this was an upper establishment owning Abbotsford, threatening contractors, but above all, frauding Abbotsford taxpayers. And Henry needed to load Ross. This was all possible because of Henry Braun's son, Darren Braun, the economic proving officer in the city under Ross and under that. I said yesterday Andrew Scheer and all the people were in at Suk Mangel's party. I want to explain something before I begin any further. The RCMP, when we went to them in mission, they're quite, you know, like, how do you say, smart, beyond smart. They practice their smarts every day. They can see through criminals. And they know rich people are manipulators and we got lawyers, but that doesn't fool the RCMP. When the RCMP saw Kelly Shahal and Dave Sadu not calling out the acts on the homeless, especially now with the rocks and in the middle of the tracks and everything, they knew that they were with the establishment. It was a money, always money, and they knew that because you call out. As bad as you partner up with anybody, you got to stand up and say, listen, you know, I'll defend you, but these acts, I'm not with you, Matty. I'm not going to be standing here where you boot somebody and do this. And you could see that loyalty, and you could see that. Today I want to talk to you and take you back. When the Augustine billionaire, came with a plan to develop Augustine, bring the services, bring the water and sewer, pay Abbotsford, and help UFV, Henry Brown's son, Darren Brown, showed me that his dad was going to have counsel and shut him down. So let me take you back, because our dumb police clown chief is sitting there. My uniform will save me. Oh, my investigator, I'm working with the RCMP. Let me get the RCMP. Are you still friends with us? Let me take you back about city council meetings and you can look at it. Henry used this as manipulation, telling the multi-billionaire, Dave Lowens, and these people, that Augustine's services in the environment and the water and sewer wouldn't take that capacity of a loan of a development. The Augustine billionaire was willing at his dimes to pay for new services and new waters and take them miles and miles and miles to the connectors all the way down from Augustine. And Henry said that didn't work. When Henry snuck into the Cooper's farm to change the zoning on Sunday with his wife and haul it off the dockets and put it back on the dockets and said Peter Sparanese did for Polygon. When Eric Nivels got Henry and his son in trouble up here at Ledgeview, that's where I am today. Polygon, with Abbotsford First and Ross Siemens, are planning to rezone this. I want you to have a look at this, Chief Watts. I want you to sit down in your briefing with your investigators and your loser friends that know now the big boys are running your police department, and they were scafing off charges when people were coming forward and running elections to run a new ring of organized crime. Polygon proposed this, and it's in the newspaper. You can read it up at Ledgeview. But when the Augustine billionaire tried it, it didn't fit the plan and it couldn't do it. Now, Henry and his group, like Ron Funks, and I showed you his son-in-law, Devin Roy, into Pacific Peak Homes, and now Polygon is going to be rewarded for this. Council outvoted the community, that would be Dave Lowens, Dave Sadu, Kelly Shahal, to give Polygon a clear green light. This is why I started to stand up to defend our developers for a level playing ground. Polygon needs its ass kicked. It needs to be seized in its assets, and we need the RCMP to start going through them city archives, them city videos, and showing this. This would show you that Henry was ringing and loading, and that's why he changed to Cooper's Farm. This will show you up in here that this was a ring sleet establishment. Dave Lowens, Ross Siemens, and these believe that if I sat in that driver's seat and we blocked that one guy and we did this. Let me explain something. It ain't so much about blocking and then taking his clients. This led to organized ring threats behind the community's back and behind the law's back. This was being played out behind Abbotsford's back with Abbotsford Police. Because this, with Polygon right now, has to have all leaders, and especially the federal, Bruce Bamman. Bruce Bamman would be able to see through this very clearly. Being a former mayor and knowing that insight to the Augustine billionaire, that this shit was to remove him, shut him down, and now it's fitting that Henry lobbied Polygon into Cooper's Farm and now up here in Ledgeview to rezone this. This needs to be stopped. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, that man was going to bring that pipeline all the way down in its services. Who do you think's going to go good for all this? Who do you think's going to go good without the infrastructure being done first and the load on the infrastructure to go good for this? This is the ring of fentanyl, the big ring of fentanyl. There's not a shortage of houses, or that we need to do this shortage of houses. It's greed, and it's greed. They needed to get that city under a private police department and do it. I showed you the police smashing my cameras, my phones, and everything. That's ordered. That's ordered. That's ordered. That's ordered to control this ring of a fentanyl development, this fentanyl development. That's ordered by the Abbotsford Police because they're a private section. This here does not take an leading investigator, an undercover Agent 4 to Agent 5. Did you see what Mr. Republican released? It's black and white. It's not a conspiracy. It's black and white. It's organized crime. Henry believed that if he loaded Ross Siemens and all these developers, like he told Polygon, we're going to get in here over the community. We're going to have Vicky Hopes like this. This is clear that I showed you what Vicky Hopes and Ken was doing. So why do you not think that article reads, Augustine billionaire shut down because the load on the services, sewer and water, Abbotsford couldn't take that. And then the environment and all this, and the roads and all this didn't fit. But here, Polygon, my friend that I lied and cheated onto Cooper's Farm and stole for and changed the zoning and had my friends up in my house called Abbotsford Council and do this. Ain't it obvious? When Andrew Scheer and all the leaders were in the room last night, they put it together just as now they could see it clearly. When Vicky Hopes didn't write the story on the homeless being abused the other day between rocks and kicked off by the Abbotsford Police, that's to get that job site. There's an elite ring involved through the back door and we got to shut it down. This doesn't call for the dismissal. It calls for the RCMP to own and take Abbotsford, because we have to go after Ross Siemens, we have to go after Henry, and we have to go after the elites to put a stop to this. Because this is leading, and now we don't know, but I can tell you from my point of view, the threats on the other side, probably by developers, you bankrupt me, and they're going to be targeted. I believe as that the developer losing hundreds of millions and millions of dollars and seeing this done in front of your face. Ross should have 24 hours protection, and all the council should, because this is not just a slap in the face, it's a slap to bankrupt you, and it's organized crime. But Ross is gone, don't worry, I got the private police department. You know, they're leaning on other police departments. And old Watts, he looks like he's been bent over and kicked up the backside. And his leading investigators upstairs, Agent 4, where are you hiding, Agent 4? Are you still hiding? Oh, Agent 4. And this is what they were doing in Abbotsford. It needs leadership. It needs responsibility. It needs the BC Conservatives to start calling this out. It needs the BC Conservatives to start demanding that the NDP open investigations into the city of Abbotsford and into the Abbotsford Police and halt all projects that are being in Abbotsford under the organized criminal ring. And we need to stop that. But this was going to be done because Vicky Hopes was going to hold it from the general public, and then that way there wouldn't be a public outcry. And Henry went and told the Abbotsford Police, we need you to beat Mr. Pelican, because he's on social media and he's showing it for his mayor election, and so we need to beat him. We need to make sure that the general community don't see this dirty things. This all began and all happened when Henry Brown got in his car, tried to end my life in broad daylight, and mangled me. Abbotsford's taught that the shield, the bulletproof vest and the gun will protect me, and I can lean on the judge and Vicky Hobbs. Covered Henry Brown's attempted murder. From the city of Abbotsford staff calling me now on this, saying, go back, Mr. Pelican, look at the Augustine billionaire, look at this. From people in the police department and everybody coming forward to help because they knew this was a ring of organized crime. And they're coming forward that Abbotsford will have the RCMP here, and we go after all this organized criminal ring, seize these assets, and we give them back to you as taxpayers. First, you do the infrastructure, you get the water, you address the Abbotsford residents that live up here, how you're going to fluctuate the massive traffic, the construction, but don't tell the Augustine billionaire that the services and water load-bearing weight won't take it, and the environment won't take it. Now we got you out of the way. We take your clients, we take your idea, and we phone Polygon because Polygon's a bigger name and it's got bigger lawyers, and we'll get old Polygon. So Polygon, we give you Cooper's Farm illegal. Now Polygon, wouldn't you like Ledgeview? Look at that Polygon, $11, $12 million homes you could build up here, Polygon. Come up here, Polygon. Dave Lowens wants to do a press conference. We need to get rid of the Abbotsford APD. That way, with them out of the way, and you can see them now that they're being watched, probably by CSIS. As they get watched and politicians see me, I got a clear run at showing Abbotsford everything. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you why Brenda Falk packed up and left. I'm going to show you why Vicky Hopes and all these people were doing it. Money. Money. And we need to put a stop to that, because that's what inflated your taxes. You imagine next year your tax is going to be another $1,000 increase to bring Polygon, Ron Funk and Peak Homes, the services up there. Oh, when the Augustine billionaire was going to do it for free. I'm live, ladies and gentlemen, Abbotsford, British Columbia. I suggest you wait for Dave Lowens to do a tweet out. Dave Lowens is trying to be the mayor. The invisible mayor behind Ross, because Ross can't do it. Abbotsford, British Columbia, Chief Watts. I suggest, Chief Watts, you, your top investigators, get home, pack your bags, and you get out of my bloody town, and you flee, and you just run, and you don't stop running. And maybe you can phone Mike Sir, and say, Mike, please, Mike, is there an open for us, Mike? Come on, Mike, please, Mike, come on, please, Mike Sir. We need to clean it up, but we need the best. And we need the RCMP brought into Abbotsford, and we need to shut down the Abbotsford police. And this would have never been proposed under a development. This would have never been done in a newspaper like this dirty thing behind people's back. And it would be front and center. And then MLAs of the opposition and people that are running for council wouldn't be scared to speak because they wouldn't be threatened. They'd be given a level playing ground. I'm live. Abbotsford, British Columbia, here up at Ledgeview Golf Course.